What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. I am staring directly into the sun as this page is so bright, but we're here talking about the Go Battle League Timeless Travels update. And not only am I going to go through the update, but I want to make it a little bit different than everybody else is doing. So what I've decided to do at the end here is we're going to go, instead of going through all the fluff, I'm going to guarantee you 5 things that you want to focus on, or 5 important Pokemon that got buffed from this patch. So things that you want to keep an eye on, but let's go through the news real quick. So we got a new season coming up, lots of new stuff, same old with the reward system, rank up, yada yada, it's always the same stuff. Let's take a look at the schedule, and real quick before we get into the schedule, just want to let you guys know in the Patreon Discord that I do run. I know Yawn, he's talking about it already, but I do have an entire list of this whole schedule and all the Pokemon and even some teams that you can look forward to having ready before the rotation even comes in. Just a really advanced look of what I think is going to be good. So if that's something that's of benefit to you, I've also got a full list of all the XLs and all the stuff that you want to work on building for the season and just in general in my Discord, as well as a great community. So look in the description of the pinned comment for that as well. If you're looking for coaching for the upcoming season, I'm on Metafile. Let's get into the schedule here. We're starting week 1 on Friday at 1 p.m. PST. That's basically going to be Niantic time on Friday for all of us here on the 1st of December. We're going to start things off with the Great League and the Retro Cup Great League Edition. Retro Cup has always been a favorite of mine, but honestly, it seems like it gets worse with every iteration. So we'll have to see how it goes. I know there's definitely some relevant updates that might make it a little bit more fun, so we'll see. And it looks like we've also returned to the 1-week rotations of the open leagues, which I'm still not sure if I'm a fan of. But we've also got 2 weeks of Retro Cups. So I don't know, man. But the next week, we're going to have Master League and Holiday Cup Great League Edition. So Holiday Cup makes a return. And then we have all 3 open leagues with a break from Holiday Cup. And then we come back and... Is that a little cup? Holiday little cup? Are you kidding me? All right. Well, so much for getting Ultra League cups again, I guess. Those were the good ones, but I guess we don't deserve those anyway. So then we get Great League. Yeah. Then we get Ultra League and the Great League Remix for 1 week. So they give us like the best Great League meta for just 1 week because yippee. And then we're going to have Master League and then the Great League Fantasy Cup. So a brand new cup for us, but we've had it in the Ultra League before. Now we're going to have it in the Great League. So that's going to be a fresh dive into the Great League Fantasy Cup meta. So that'll be interesting. What is that? Like 3 weeks in the whole season of all 3 open leagues. That's actually pretty okay. And it's 4 times Stardust from an event we're having going on too, I believe. So then we're going to have 2 weeks of the Hisui Cup, as I'm sure you've already kind of gathered. This entire season is basically a Hisui-themed thing with the expectation that there's going to be the Sinnoh Tour. Now, by the time you watch this, the news may have already dropped. I'm recording this. There's still about 12 hours left on their little countdown on the seasons page, so I haven't seen any information on the Sinnoh Tour yet, but the expectation is Origin Form, Palkia, Origin Form, Dialga, things like that. So it'll be exciting. And then we're also getting the Hisuian starters in raid days over the course of the season. Hisuian Samurot's coming this Sunday. It's going to be a banger. I love Hisuian Samurott. We're going to get the Evolution Cup back alongside Master League. Evolution Cup was actually not a bad meta. And there is one Pokemon that I will make sure I point out. It's not in my top 5, but I'll make sure I mention it just because I think that might not be an awful Pokemon to kind of have your eyes on, right? So then we have... Bro, I thought the little cup was bad. You're going to give me this? Oh, no. Yep, it's actually there. I wasn't hallucinating. It's actually there. Not only do we get 1 week of Catch Cup, we get 1 week of 2 Catch Cups. What? All right. I'm going to say this right now, okay? Based on this, I believe Niantic did not action any feedback from this previous season. I think what happens is they get feedback, right? From, the Singaporean grandmas or whoever it is that they, say they get their feedback from, and then they don't action it for the following season. They follow it 2 seasons, right? So they're going to take the feedback from the current season we're in, next season, and then the season after this coming season, the season after Timeless Travels, we may see a more preferred schedule, right? We may see less Catch Cup. We might see more Premier Cups. We might see the schedule go back to a little bit more like what people actually like. But we'll see. That's just a theory. I don't know anything. Just a theory. Just a little logic going on. But we finish off the season with 3 open leagues, which once again, I kind of appreciate. Oh my God, it's bright. Bruh, come on. All right, so we get a Go Battle week from Friday, January 19th until Wednesday, January 24th. So a whole week of 10 sets a day, 4 times Stardust. There's research, all that good fun stuff. Save your premium passes, get those rare candy XLs. I don't know what they're gonna do because it's Ingo, baby. The conductor's here. We're getting a Go Battle day during the Evolution Cup and Open Master League. The Timeless Travels Go Battle week will be all 3 leagues during that week. So we are gonna get 4 times Stardust. There's a lot of weeks where we get 4 times Dust from win rewards, which is kind of nice. Like there was at least like 4 or 5 weeks that I saw that was nice. So that'll be a thing. There is no research for the Go Battle day as far as paid research. There's a timed research, which is Yippee, battle items, and XP. So the rewards, I'm not even going to really take the time to go through these. They're all the same. I have not seen a single thing that really changed here. The timed research pass, I'm going to remind you now because I'm probably not going to be able to remind you again. The research pass is free. Pick it up at the beginning of the season when it rolls over for the GBL season. And you have to get it within like the first 2 weeks, and then it's out of the shop. So make sure you get it. This is our pose, dude. I can't do this with my arm. Okay, this actually this almost causes me pain doing this. I don't know why this pose is garbage. I'm gonna be honest, the pose sucks. But the outfit could be kind of neat. I like the outfit to a degree. I'm not a fan of the hat personally, but I know some people will be, and that's okay. It's just a preference thing. I like the coat. I like the shoes. I kind of like the shoes. I like the pants, but I don't like the pose. I think the pose is worse than any of the poses we've had so far, period. So this is just kind of specifics about the cups. We've seen Retro Cup. We've seen Holiday Cup. Just a reminder, Retro Cup is all Dark Steel and Fairies are banned. Holiday Cup is only normal grass, electric, ice, flying, and ghost type. And Holiday Cup Little Cup Edition is going to be the exact same thing, but everything under 500 CP. Doesn't matter if it's evolved. Doesn't matter. It's going to be like Jungle Cup. It's going to be everything under that CP is eligible. Fantasy Cup is going to be only Dragon, Steel, and Fairy type Pokemon, so yay. For Great League, we're going to have to see how that meta shakes out. Evolution Cup is only Pokemon that are in the middle stage, right? So like Piloswine, Machoke, Pokemon like Vigoroth, Pokemon like Dragonair, those Pokemon that are like in the middle evolution, those are going to be allowed in this cup. Something that has evolved once and have never evolved. Wait. That are able to evolve and have never evolved. Huh? That makes no sense. I thought it was supposed to be the things that have evolved once are eligible. I don't know. We'll see. They make mistakes on these blogs all the time. I'm not going to read into it too much. History Cup is anything in the Pokemon Legend Arceus Pokedex. So it's basically Sinnoh Cup plus History Pokemon. So, yeah, that'll be... With all the Hisuian Pokemon they're adding this season, I would like to think they are anyway. Whatever we haven't already gotten, I imagine they'll probably drip feed the rest. So we'll see what that looks like. The Great League Remix... All right. This pisses me off. I'm gonna be honest. I see at least 4 things on here that don't need to be on here. Noctowl shouldn't be on here. Altaria shouldn't be on here. Toxicroak shouldn't be on here. Scrafty shouldn't be on here. Galarian Stunfisk shouldn't be on here. Trevenant shouldn't be on here. Shame on you guys for not keeping up to date with this ban list. There should be Lickitung, Gligar, Carbink. There's so many other things that need to be on this list. So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't have Lantern, doesn't have Medicham, so woohoo. Okay. Greninja's on the list. For what? Nobody ran it outside of like the one time that it came out in the comm day, like for like the month that we had it. This is definitely information taken. That they're ranked ace and above statistics. This is why I'm saying they don't take the current season and give it to us for the next season. They're like 2 seasons behind when they implement this stuff. There's no way that this list is current. So, I mean, Great League Remix is still great, but it just frustrates me to see that how ancient this information has been at this point. Catch Cup, yippee, we know what Catch Cup is. All right, let's get into the move updates, because this is what we care for. A lot of it's fluff, but I'm going to take a minute, just go through the move updates themselves, and then we'll go through the Pokemon that I think are actually important. So, Mudslap gets an energy generation increase. That means that it's going to gain more energy. Rhyperior is going to be the biggest winner here, I think. Fire Spin gets 1 more damage. So, Alolan Marowak already uses Fire Spin, and there's really not a whole lot of other Pokemon that really care to use Fire Spin at this point. You might see... I don't even think Charizard would want to use it because it has wing attack already. It doesn't matter, but Could be an... I wouldn't even use it as an alternative for Talonflame, which, speaking of Talonflame, Incinerate got a 5 damage boost, which now makes Talonflame and Skeleturge even better. This is actually now brings Incinerate to being, I think it's 4 for 4. I think it's 4 damage, 4 energy per turn. So that's actually like the best overall energy gaining and damaging move in the game at the moment per turn, which is insane. But obviously you give up the fact that it takes 15 years to finish an Incinerate. So Blaze Kick, 55 damage to 60 power. Not much really uses Blaze Kick, so it doesn't matter. Breaking Swipe is the big one, and I don't know if I agree with this take. I would have liked to see them nerf Dragon Tail, okay? I would have liked to see them make Dragon Tail completely useless, and then give the things that currently use Dragon Tail a better move, like Scale Shot, you know, something new that would have replaced Dragon Tail. That way Steelix doesn't get to Breaking Swipe every 4 Dragon Tails. Now all they've done is instead they've decided to take the chance to lower the opponent's attack. It's no longer guaranteed. It's not just a chance. Like Registeel and Zap Cannon is just a chance. We all know how that goes, right? Iron Tail gets a power increase and its energy generation increased. So with Iron Tail, okay, one thing that I want you to keep your eye on is Lairon in the Evolution Cup. That thing with Metal Claw already was a bit of a nuisance, but Metal Claw is such a bad move. Iron Tail actually could make it somewhat decent. Might be worth keeping your eye on if you have one. If you have one stashed, great. Might be worth using. Steel Wing on Skarmory. There's other things that it gets used on as well. Like Talonflame has it, Dragonite has it, some of the normal flyers have it. Just go on PvPoke and type in @SteelWing in the rankings, and you'll be able to pull up every Pokemon in the entire meta that has it. You'll be able to kind of see for yourself who actually benefits from that, but it's really not too many things. Skarmory is really the big one here. Astonish, okay, so now Astonish is basically going to be a Fire Spin clone before they buff Fire Spin. So woohoo! It's still not gonna be that great. It's just awkward. Bubble going back to 8 power, which is where it used to be. If you're not, you know, a longtime veteran of GBL, back many seasons ago, Bubble got nerfed from 8 power to 7 power. So they're putting it back where it was. So maybe this will make Azu, I believe this will make Azu a much stronger Pokemon, getting all that extra damage in. It's not one of my top 5, but it's definitely like number 6 or 7. Like it's right up there with something to keep in mind. Scald also getting a greater chance to lower the opponent's attack by 1 stage. So I don't know what it was before. Could have been 10, could have been 30. I don't know what the chance was before, but they're increasing it, and it's got an increase in power to 85. So Scald is going to be a stronger move now, and Psychic has been... Okay, this is a mistake. I do believe in the previous blog we got from 85 to 80, and now it's going from 80 to 75. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. You can correct me in the comments if I am wrong, but I think that's where we're at with that. So Psychic got a little bit more of a nerf, which is the nerf it should have gotten in the first place, I think. Metacham will now have to think twice about running Psychic. They probably still will, because let's be honest, it's freaking Metacham. But they might opt more now for the Dynamic Punch, because if you're running Psychic with that low damage, there's a solid chance that it may very well not be able to handle things like Lickitung. So we're going to jump over to the PvPoke Matrix real quick, and I was not prepared for this, so we're going to get a preview of what I was going to talk about. Let's look at the Metacham matchup here. So Psychic, what we can do right now, Matt PvPoke, bless him, he has made it so that we can go in here and we can look at these moves. Psychic new, he's added new versions of all the moves so we can compare, right? So what I want to do here is I want to look at the Lickitung matchup, okay? I want to look at the Lickitung matchup because this is important, right? If you land a Psychic, typically Metacham can just win this matchup. And there you go. Metacham only wins the 1 shield if it gets a bait with Ice Punch. Metacham loses the zeros and loses the 2 shields to Lickitung. That is crazy to me. But that's fine, because Metacham needed to sit down. It's been up at the top for far too long. It needs to go. So I appreciate being able to see this. Can you win going straight Psychic? You do with 2 HP. That's IV dependent. That's not a dominant matchup anymore for Metacham at all. So you might see them opt to decide to go for Dynamic Punch instead now. And 1 turn, literally 1 single turn, 1 lick, changes that scenario. That's crazy. Let's get back in here. So attack availability updates. A lot of this is fluff. I'm going to be honest. And you've probably already watched at least 4 people's videos who went over this stuff already. So instead of naming off each and every single one, I'm going to name off the ones that I think that matter. Poliwrath, going to matter. Icy Wind is a strict upgrade over the Ice Punch. We're going to see a little bit further down. We can flip through all of these, but Greedent, oh my god, Greedent is going to be disgusting in Ultra League. If you don't hit that thing with a Cobalion, with, you know, something that just completely walls its moveset, Trailblaze and then the Body Slam spam is going to be disgusting. Or just going straight Trailblaze. It gets a Trailblaze in what, like 6 mud shots probably? 5 or 6 mud shots. That attack boost on that squirrel, as thick as it is, that's going to make the Body Slams hit harder, and it's going to be painful. It's going to be almost as bad as dealing with Steelix. So in the Great League, maybe not as big of a deal, but in the Ultra League, I can see Green being an absolute just powerhouse of a Pokemon at this point because of just how strong it can be. It by itself may bring about the resurgence of things like Cobalion again, despite having all of the Virizions out there, because you go for one Trailblaze, all those Body Slams that you're going every 8 turns, dude, no way. Let's take a look at it, okay? I did have it ready. It was ready to go. I got to figure out which one of these it's in. Okay, here's Greedent in the Great League. Let's take a look at Greedent in the Great League in the ones. I'm not going to go too crazy here, but let's just take a look at it. Trailblaze is a strict upgrade. It only drops Trevenant, and even then, right? So now, because we used to think of Greedent as a good answer to water types because it had Bullet Seed, now it's an answer to Carbink. It's an answer to all of the Mud Boys, and it actually beats Sableye. I'm not sure how Sableye won that matchup before. It might have been very IV dependent. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's at a 495 rating. The way you read these matrix readouts is anything at 500 is a tie. The closer you get to 500 either way is a close matchup. So it probably was IV dependent for Sableye versus Greedent, but now it just completely dominates that matchup with Trailblaze. It's disgusting. And obviously any Mud Boy and any water type now has to really fear the Greedent, because if it counter swaps in and then it starts going on Trailblaze, it's gonna steamroll things. It's gonna have the boosted Body Slams after that matchup. So that, I think that Greedent is gonna be just a disgusting little creature. But let's take a look at Ultra League real quick, because that's also fun, right? So let's take a look at the one shields in the Ultra League meta. It loses to Giratina Altered because it's completely walled, and it loses to Trevenant, while it gains Aurorus, Swampert, and Tapu Fini. And I think that you're going to see more Tapu Fini than Giratina. And I'm going to be completely honest. You could honestly opt for Trailblaze Crunch in the Ultra League. I think that Greedent is in an awkward place with the Ultra League meta because of the existence of things like Giratina that wall one of the movesets, and then you have things that wall the other moveset. It's just, it's complete. It's just, you have to pick a move, right? But I think that overall, just the fact that this thing has Trailblaze, it's not so much what's in the Sims, it's in this Greedent counter swaps into something that it can beat with Trailblaze and then just continues to roll the team afterwards regardless. So that's what I wanted to bring some attention to here. But let's jump back here, go down the list. Alolan Sandslash is not on my top 5, but having Aerial Ace allows it to hit back against fighters, and it allows it to hit back against Golisopod and Araquanid. Those are the two really important ones I wanted to bring up. If you're running Aerial Ace on Alolan Sandslash, you are no longer completely walled by the bugs in Ultra League, or even in the Great League if you see them. Fly being added to all these Pokemon. There are even some people who are like, Fly is a move? It's new? No, Fly has been in the game for a while. It's actually the best energy efficient flying type move that's not a nuke. So we take away Hurricane, Dragon Ascent, and Brave Bird, and Fly is at the top. It's almost as good as Flying Press. So it's a really good move, and the fact that Talonflame gets it, Talonflame, in my opinion, is my number 1 or number 2, depending on how Greedent and Talonflame are up there at the top. Talonflame getting Fly is absolutely huge, and I'm going to show you why, okay? What we get with Fly over Brave Bird, we're looking at nuke versus consistency. So a Brave Bird may win the matchup because it gets the Flame Charge boost and then land the Brave Bird, but that doesn't mean that Fly is going to be worse. It just means that you have more consistent but lower energy flying type damage. So you can continue on through a matchup at that point. But let's take a look at the Great League first, because Talonflame is going to be a very important Pokemon. So in the Great League, yes, it strictly loses all these matchups. I think that Talonflame in the Ultra League is where it's really going to shine. But we'll take a look at the 2 shields, because like we said, consistency is what's going to matter here. And now we're looking at these matchups that we gain. We're losing Azumarill, we're losing Dugong, Mandibuzz, Mantine, and Umbreon are all losses here, but honestly, they're already kind of close. Dugong, Azumarill, and Mantine are things that I expect to beat Talonflame anyway. It's just because it gets to land the Brave Bird. If you don't land that Brave Bird, you still lose that matchup. But you gain things like Cofagrigus, Medicham, Toxicroak, and Noctowl, which you would think that Medicham and Toxicroak would be good matchups anyway, but because you're doing fire-type damage, it's not super effective. It's not putting as much pressure, and the opponent's Medicham and even the Toxicroak, if it lands that Sludge Bomb, will be able to knock out the Talonflame because it's not particularly bulky. So there's your ones, and obviously in the zeros, Brave Bird's going to do better because it's new. But I think that really the Ultra League is where Talonflame is going to shine its brightest. So let's take a look at the one shield scenario in the Ultra League first, and then we'll see that I am complete. I'm like, it's going to shine its brightest here. Absolutely. It takes Golisopod, it takes Snorlax, and loses a whole bunch else. But again, this is all Brave Bird stuff, right? If you can get yourself in a matchup, though, you don't have to deal with the Brave Bird anymore. If you prefer not to deal with Brave Bird, that's fine, because you're in a better spot. What this allows you to do is it allows you to core break the Steelix cores a lot easier because you're not relying on the Brave Bird damage. So let's take a look at the twos here. And I love how, see, this is what I was talking about. Okay, this is more what I wanted to see. So somehow we lose Obstagoon here. I'm not really sure how. Tapu Fini and Jellicent should be losses for Talonflame anyway. I don't see any actual world where you get that matchup. Like, you have to land a boosted Brave Bird in order to take it out. That's it. That's the only way you win it. So we're going to gain Cobalion, which is really interesting because Cobalion actually would get to the Stone Edge and take out the Talonflame otherwise. Cofagrigus, Drapion, Alolan Muck, Nidoqueen, Ninetales, Snorlax, Poliwrath, and Toxicroak. Poliwrath's a big pickup here, I think. Other Pokemon here you kind of expect it to win, but Nidoqueen is a nice pickup because otherwise it was very dependent on the timing of the Nidoqueen, right? So this is a very interesting pickup. I think Talonflame maybe doesn't become a sim hero anymore. It kind of gets dumbed down to where it's supposed to be with consistent damage. But I feel like that consistent damage can carry you into a different matchup after the Talonflame wins, right? Just like the Greedent. It helps you get through even more of the matchup in the future if you win that matchup. So we'll take a look back here at the news. We're going to see, I like, not on my top, but certainly a heart favorite. Suicune's my favorite legendary. Getting Scald means it isn't forced to choose between Bubble Beam and Hydro Pump for its water-type damage anymore, which is nice. Though Technical is going to appreciate the Ludicolo, but we're going to jump down to Vigoroth and Toxicroak because those are two of the biggest winners here. Toxicroak getting Shadow Ball gives it the opportunity to hit back against Jellicent. This, I don't believe, is going to net it any real wins in the Sims. But what Toxicroak gains from this is the ability to just slap a ghost with Shadow Ball. And that by itself is already pretty impactful, right? So this is a lot, okay? So basically what I'm gaining from this, okay? Toxicroak can beat Medicham now with Shadow Ball. That's one of the important things we're seeing. However, when we start looking at the rest of the Sims, when you compare to the standard moveset of Mud Bomb, Sludge Bomb, you really don't gain anything by running Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, or Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb with Counter or Mud Shot. Either one of those is just strictly worse. So you want the Mud Bomb because it's a bait move, and two, ground type coverage is pretty good typically. But Toxicroak with Counter, Mud Bomb, Shadow Ball picks up Cofagrigus, which is a ghost type matchup, and it also picks up Medicham. Now I'm pretty sure these are bait dependent though, so we'll take a look at the two shields and see how Toxie does in two shields. Strictly worse. So like I was saying, right, Shadow Ball is not going to be necessarily a strict upgrade for Toxicroak. It's more a coverage side grade sort of option depending on the meta. You're not going to necessarily have a ton of wins here. On the top, we have the standard. The next one down is Mud Bomb, Shadow Ball. Then we have Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb with Counter, and then we have Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb with Mud Shot. Just figured I'd add it in there for the context. But let's take a look at Vigoroth getting Rock Slide. Fighting type, Rock type coverage, very strong. Machamp has it. Now Vigoroth has it too. And do you want to know what this is going to allow it to do, folks? I mean, we could take a look at Ultra League too, couldn't we? I guess. I don't really think it matters too much for Toxicroak in the Ultra League. But we can take a quick look. in the ones. I don't know if it's really going to make a difference here. Yeah, it's more of the same. I'm just gonna move on from this unfortunate story here. As yeah, Shadow Ball is just a coverage option. That's all it is. It's not going to make it Toxicroak better. It's just going to be coverage option. So let's take a look at the next thing up here, which is Vigoroth with Rock Slide. Again, top we've got the Bulldoze, Vigoroth. Bottom we've got Rock Slide, and the fact that it picks up Cofagrigus, Frostlass, and Ninetales, which are typically two things that slap it silly. Plus Ninetales is kind of nice too. It has that super effective damage into the ice types with a charge move, not just Body Slam. But it does give up Registeel because it doesn't have Bulldoze, and somehow Quagsire, apparently it needed a Bulldoze to take out Quagsire. But the thing is that Vigoroth has always been a good safe swap. It's never really been something that you necessarily want with matchups. So in the twos, it really just gives up Lantern. But one of the things that I would like to highlight here is that typically Sableye has been known as a counter to it. Now, Sableye, if I'm not mistaken, if I can find it, Sableye loses to Vigoroth now. It just straight loses to Vigoroth. And Vigoroth doesn't even have to go Body Slam to bait with Bulldoze. It just goes straight Rock Slide, even though it shows baits. All right, that's because it's the two shields. Hold on, let's. All right, I'm just undoing my own self here. But I was looking through Twitter. Wallower was going through some of the matchups for Sableye. It might be IV dependent for all I know. But this is a positive matchup overall now for Vigoroth because of the Rock Slide. So that's all I really wanted to highlight here. That's going to be really all the move updates that are really impactful. Everything else is really just fluff and stuff. You know, Frostlass gets triple axle. It can buff itself. Great. Articuno gets triple axle. Too bad it's really not good in Ultra League anymore, unfortunately. So Whiscash getting Scald, which is nice water coverage for it. Some other things that popped out to me here. Just things getting coverage, right? It's really all it is coverage. So that's going to do it for the move updates, guys. Hopefully this has kind of shown you what to look for. I know that my diving into the Sims wasn't exactly the most beneficial thing to back up my theorems, but I just think that those 5 Pokemon that I really went through, and let's take a look at Skeleturge if you're still here. Y'all appreciate my boy Skeleturge here. Got that Incinerate buff. We are going to go in and check the moves. It's obviously going to be better for Skeleturge to do more damage, but the matchups it gains from doing more damage is huge. It just straight takes Dugong. Alolan Sandslash doesn't get that drill runoff in the one shield anymore. It just completely takes Steelix, G-Fist, Trevenant, Vigoroth even. With the rock, or with Bulldoze. We don't have Rock Slide in here on this one yet, but in the 2 shields, only wins. Skeleturge is what is the biggest winner. Skeleturge is top meta confirmed. Lantern stonks are going up, and we're going to see a lot more Lantern next season. That's going to be my closing thoughts for this news. I know that y'all have seen the news. Hopefully I was able to bring about something that you didn't know from the other videos. But anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you. Of course, we'll catch you in the next one. I said it like 4 times by now. Bye-bye!